Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to do a wee video today. I think it's very important on how to keep your dog safe during hot weather. Now, here in London, our temperatures have soared to 30, 31 degrees over the last few days. And it's very important to make sure that your animals are safe during these types of conditions. So I'll give you a few tips. So dogs can suffer really badly in hot weather and they can die very quickly from heat stroke, and it's something not to be underestimated. Animals die every year from heat stroke. So I'll give you some tips on how to keep them safe in this type of weather. So number one is when you're walking them, do it in the cooler of the morning, even if it means going out earlier, and in the cool of the evening. Don't walk them through the heat of the day because it's going to be too much for them. Now, if for some reason you have to take the dog out during the day, only take the dog out for a short period. So just a leisurely walk out and back for 10 minutes so it can do its business. And another thing you can do, if you've got a double coated dog like mine that has a thick coat, shower the dog down in cold water before you take the dog out. So when the dog's going out, its body temperature is much cooler. But the same thing again, don't keep the dog out for long, just short periods. The other thing is, don't make your dog work when it's out. Don't make it throw a ball. Don't make it run around. Just let the dog amble around at its own leisure. Now, if you're in the house, other things you can do as well is, if you get a paddling pool and you've got a garden, you can fill a paddling pool with some water, cool water, and the dog can go in and out of the paddling pool as it likes. You can put that in a shaded area in your garden. If you don't have a garden and you need to keep the animal cool inside, make sure your windows are open. But what you can do, and I have done before, is you can soak a towel in cold water and you can lay it over the top of the dog's back, or you can lay it on the floor or on the dog's bed, and the dog can lie on it to cool it down. Another thing you can do is, if the dog's starting to heat up, is hose under the dog's belly with cold water, the chest area, the belly area, the leg area, and that will help to cool the dog down as well. Under no circumstances take your dog in a car or leave your dog in a car unattended in the sun. Your dog will die within minutes. Within a car with the sun blaring on it is 4 or 5 times greater than it is outside, and it's basically like putting your dog into an oven. So it's very important not to leave your dog in a car or in a type of greenhouse, sort of conservatory area, anything like that where it's got a lot of windows and the sun is blaring in. Now, another good tip is you can put ice cubes into their water, and that'll help to keep it cooler. You can actually give your dogs ice cubes to chew on as well. You can also, if your dog is raw fed, you can feed them frozen from the freezer. But if your dog is not raw fed, you can also freeze treats like yogurt treats, peanut butter treats, any of those sort of homemade treats that you make for your dog. You can freeze them and give them to them frozen. All helps during the hot weather. And I cannot overestimate how dangerous it is for your animals during hot, very hot weather like this. So the best thing you can do during very hot spells is keep them in the shade, keep them well hydrated, and only take them out during the cooler periods and for very short periods of time. Come on, Luna. And I decided to make this video today because a group that I go walking with sometimes, it's a German Shepherd group. I got sent a message last night about how one of the ladies was at a local Lidl store and a dog was sitting in the car waiting for its owner to come back, and she could see that the dog was in distress, and she called the police. Here in the UK, the police are allowed to smash windows of cars if there's dogs trapped inside. So that's what they did. They came, they smashed the window, but unfortunately it was too late. The police doused the dog with cold water, tried to revive it, but it was too late. And that all happened within a very, very short space of time. And sadly, it's not an uncommon thing. So guys, if you've got dogs, please, please take care of your animals during very hot periods of weather. Now, so on a brighter note, we are out on our morning walk and it's very cool this morning. Now, Luna is a senior dog, so it's even more important for me to make sure that she's okay during this type of weather. But Luna will just be allowed to walk about at her leisure, and I pay very close attention to her. She kind of more or less will tell me if it's too hot for her, and I can tell if she's struggling a little bit. But this morning it's nice and cool. It's quite overcast, but later on, once that cloud cover burns off, it'll get very hot again. So I'm taking her on a nice walk now, and then that way she can be comfortable through the day. Luna does have a little pool in her garden that she can go into, and over the last couple of days I have hosed her every day in the shower because the temperatures have been over 30 degrees here in London. So as you can imagine, it was very hot indoors as well. Then what I do is during the day when it's very hot, I just let her go into the back garden to do her business. And if I do take her out, It's a 5-minute quick walk down the block and back. And that's it. Until the evening time. And then once it cools down, maybe around 8 o'clock, 8:30, I'll take her for a 20-minute, half an hour walk then. Because Luna is a double-coated dog, being a German Shepherd. And she has been casting again, which means that her coat she was carrying was making her too hot, because this will be the second time she's cast this year. So one of the other things I will say is, if you don't have any choice but you do need to take your dog with you, if you're going out somewhere to a park or whatever, try and take your dog somewhere where it's going to have access to water. So like if you're going to the beach, the dog can swim in the water and cool itself down. You can have maybe like a pop-up tent that it can go into to get shade. Also at the beach there'll also be a channel running through the beach in one specific area that will have fresh water as well. Or if you're going to a park, try and go to a park that has access to water and shade. And it's always a good idea, which I normally do, is to bring like a hand towel with me if I'm going out to a park, and then I can rinse it underneath a hose, or I can put it into the river and soak it, and just I can sit it up over her back, or I can lay it down on the ground and she can lie on it. And that is very efficient way. I've done that for years with Luna, and it's really, really cooled her down when she's been very hot. Another thing you might notice when the weather is very hot is you might notice that your dog gets quite itchy. And usually that's because it's a mixture of the dog's sweating, and they might be losing a bit more of their coat because of the hot weather. So that sort of combination tends to make them a bit itchy. And what you can do is just shower them off, get rid of all that excess hair. Isn't that right, darling? Do you want to go into the woodland for a walk?